Hello people, I have another video for you today. Now first of all, before I start everything, I'd like to apologize for not uploading anything in the past couple of months, but I've been really busy with my dissertation and my final exams for my masters. I'm over that, it's done. Now I passed my dissertation, so I'm happy. So I can bring you guys another video. Now today we're gonna talk a bit about sound cards. Basically gaming sound cards. In my previous experience, mainly by talking to people, I've noticed that usually people who build gaming machines don't focus, on a sound card. They want to get, a good graphics card, fast CPU, good CPU cooler, stuff like that. And the sound card usually is, last on their list of priorities. Most people end up using just on-board sound card and maybe, like USB headphones, which is fine, I guess. Now, what got me personally into all this, sound thing, were these. Now, these are my Sennheiser HD 380s. Now, personally, I really like listening to music on my headphones. I don't listen to music on my speakers at all. Just don't. So I got those. I was really impressed with them. I really like, I was impressed with the volume and all that stuff. And everybody I was talking to keep telling me, get a sound card with an amplifier, get a DAC, get stuff like that. So I started looking, I started looking for DACs, headphone amplifiers, and I saw that the prices were enormous, way too much. And I didn't see the point in spending, $500 or euros on an amplifier. It just seems stupid to me. I'd rather buy a graphics card for that type of money. So what I did, I got this. Now this is a Asus Xonar D1. I've also owned the DX, which is basically the same thing as this one. Now the reason I got this one is because my PC is hooked up through that wall to my home theater system. And I used to play a lot of movies, even sometimes some games on my 5.1 home theater system. Now this card for 5.1 and 7.1 music, movies, games, stuff like that was absolutely brilliant. The difference between this and the onboard sound, and not the onboard sound on just one motherboard, on 3 different motherboards, which are all high-end motherboards, the difference was enormous. So I was really happy with this one. Now, this one didn't have a headphone amplifier. So I started looking for sound cards with headphone amplification. If you look online, like for sound cards with built-in headphone amps, you can find a bit of them out there, but you'll notice there are only like 2 or 3 companies that really aim their products at gamers. You have Asus, they have like 4 or 5 sound cards with headphone amplifiers. They also, some of them would be the Essence ST, Essence STX, the new ROG Phoebius or Phobius or something like that. But you'll quickly notice that those sound cards, they're not cheap. They're not expensive compared to high-end, Pro Solutions or separate headphone amplifiers, but they're not cheap for a sound card. And most gamers would rather spend that, 100 euros, 150 euros or dollars towards a better CPU or a better graphics card than towards a sound card. So I started to look. I saw, Ozentech has headphone amplified sound cards, which again aren't cheap, but they do a good job. So after noticing that you can choose between Asus, Creative, and Ozentech, basically, if you're a gamer and you don't know, you don't have the knowledge to go into the the professional sound cards, or you don't have the money to go into that field, what I found was this thing. This is the ESI Prodigy X-fi NRG. Now I'm gonna bring you guys in for a closer look at the box and at the sound card, and then we're gonna talk a bit more about it. So guys, this is a closer look at the sound card. Now the thing that's most striking is the PCB. It's let me show the back because that's more relevant. Yeah, it's a sort of matte white or a matte dirty white PCB. Now with some of the newer white cases with white fans, white cables, stuff like that, this could look really good because you can't really find white sound cards. You can find some white graphics cards with white PCBs, I mean, but sound cards, it's kind of hard. Now if you have a black system, this might not work so well. Personally, in my system it's hidden beneath my bottom video card and I can't really see it, so I'm not bothered by it. Now this baby over here, this is the headphone amplifier, and for those of you out there that really want to know, I'm gonna cheat and read off because I can't remember. It's a NE5532 op amp and it's swappable. It's on a socket, so if you're into this stuff and you know what you're talking about, you can swap that out. You can see it's got a PCI Express X1 interface. Over here you have the front panel HD audio now and the SPDIF out. As you can see on the back, they're labeled nicely so you don't mix them up, you know. One thing to say, do not plug an AC97 front panel audio. It's written on ESI's website and in the manual. They say that this can actually cause damage to your sound card, so only HD audio. Now let's look at the back of it, the connectors. So in terms of connectivity, this one, the first one, the blue one, as you can see it's marked. It's a mic line in. This one is a dedicated headphone out, right? Now these three are your normal 5.1, you know, speaker plugs. You have front, back subwoofer, center subwoofer, I think, and this is rear out, I believe. Yeah. Now these two are the digital out and digital in, or optical toslink, you know, however you want to call them. So you've had a look at the card. Now I'm gonna give you a look also at the software. If you wanna, you know, have a closer look at the stuff on here, you can pause and have a better look. It's made in Korea, the PCB, as it says over here. A quick look at the back of the box, because I think this is, you know, decently important. Just some basic specs. I don't know if you can read it, so I'm gonna read it to you. 7.1 channels, right? 24-bit, 96 kilohertz. It's featuring the AKM AK4358 digital audio converter, and the signal to noise ratio is 112 decibels. So guys, this is a quick look at the software that comes with the ESI Prodigy X-fi. As you can see, the software has a very basic layout, you know, volume knob, mute button, and all the options. Now I found this software to be very user-friendly. It's very easy to customize in order to get what you want. So I'll just go through each of these really fast. EIX effects. Now you can enable this, have all types of effects. Personally, I don't like this. I don't like stuff like this when I use my ASUS sound card. I just disable them. That's just personal preference. You can leave them on if you want, or choose whatever. You have X-fi CMS 3D. Again, not relevant really for me. If it is for you, then good. X-fi crystallizer, you can enable it. You can see it really, you know, it shows you a bit of explanation about what this stuff is. So if you don't know anything about it, you can just get a bit of info from it. I don't use that either. You have your basically your equalizer. Enable equalizer, boom. Select a few presets, make your own, save them. It's all brilliant. What else? Mixer. Let's see. You can select, you know, your output device. You have your volume for your line in, your microphone front panel, all that stuff, digital audio. You can mute all of them if you want. And jacks. So you can see I have my line in plugged, and speaker jack detection, all that stuff. If I plug in my headphones, let's just do that really fast. Boom, headphones. Automatically enable headphone settings, automatically mute speakers. This is great. And have a test. You know, when I plug in my headphones, I don't have to stretch out and turn my speakers off. I know that they're gonna be off. Well, that was it. So I guess I'll just move on to a conclusion. Well, now that you've seen, you know, the box, the sound card, seen the specs and all that, now I think it's time for me to tell you, you know, my experience with this. Now, take in mind, I'm not any sort of audiophile. I don't have experience dealing with high-end audio stuff. I'm just a normal user, and this is my experience as a normal user. And I think that most of you will have the same experience I did, if if you're not a sound expert, or you don't have a hobby for sound stuff, headphones, audio car, stuff like that. So when I used to plug my Sennheisers into the Asus, now the sound was good. Don't get me, the sound was good, but when I plugged them into the amplified ESI, I was blown away. And it's really hard to explain what the difference between an amplified sound card and a sound card with no dedicated amplifier is, because you really have to experience the noise to understand the difference. It's not so much a difference in volume. Volume was comparable between the two, but it's a difference in the power that the sound card can provide to drive the headphones. The bass was much more crisp. The sound was much clearer. Not that the Asus had distortion of stuff, it didn't. It was just like the way the sound was being produced was different. And even I, who have no experience in this, I can tell there's a huge difference. It's worth mentioning that when I hook up my PC to my home theater or to my speakers, I cannot tell any difference between the normal Asus D1 and the ESI. So maybe if I had more expensive home theater system or more expensive speaker setup, maybe I will tell the difference. But using just mid-range speakers, mid-range home theater system, I cannot tell any difference. When I'm playing movies, games, music, I personally can't tell the difference. The only difference I can tell is when I use the headphones. And I can tell the difference when I use the headphones, especially when I play music. I have some 1024 kilobytes per second tracks, and in those especially, the quality of the sound, the quality of the the power that the sound card can provide the headphones is really obvious.